Nice. Did you know that Beyonce and Billie Eilish have synesthesia? I did. Yeah, I was out when you Googled it. Right, yeah. That is so cool. This is so tasty. Hey, is that the brownie that was at the back of the fridge? Yeah. Why? No reason? Okay. Waiter. Let's talk about synesthesia. A few weeks ago, I came across a fascinating article about synesthesia, and I was really intrigued, so I did what I like best. I Googled it. Let me break it down for you. Synesthesia is a neurological condition defined as an anomalous blending of the senses in which the stimulation of one modality simultaneously produces a sensation in a different modality. Crystal clear, right? Basically, this means that people with synesthesia, known as synesthetes, can hear colors, feel sounds, and or taste shapes. And no, you don't have to eat a magic brownie to do so. It happens all the time, and the sounds, sensations, and colors perceived by a synesthete are consistent. For instance, an F will always sound reddish, Wednesdays will always feel blue and round, and the smell of coffee might feel grainy or rough. Now, this is just an example, it's pure speculation of mine, really. That might be the brownie. What? Nothing? The simplest form of synesthesia involves the linked perception of two senses, like you see color and you hear a sound, or you say a word and it has a shape or a flavor and that kind of thing. One of the most common combinations is called grapheme color synesthesia, and it occurs when letters or numbers are associated with specific colors, like this. Two other sort of common ones, according to one article that I read, are the auditory tactile synesthesia, which occurs when a sound prompts a specific bodily sensation like a tingling on the back of one's neck or getting goosebumps when you hear something. The other one is called chromesthesia, which occurs when certain sounds like the honking of a car or a cat meowing triggers someone to see colors, right? And the list can go on and on with all the possible combinations of the senses. And it sounds great. I mean, to me at least, it sounds kind of like a weird undervalued superpower that it's not really useful, but it sounds really cool to have. You know, great. However, there is yet another level that we can take this. Well, not we, people with synesthesia. Because there are some synesthetes who have displayed a connection amongst all five senses, so they can hear, feel, smell, taste, and see something when any of their senses receives a stimulus. I mean, that sounds really, really cool in theory, but I wonder if it could be annoying somehow. Anyway, there isn't a lot of research on the topic, but it's estimated that up to 5% of the population, which is a very low number, are synesthetes, and that the condition has signs of a genetic component, meaning if you have the gene, you could have synesthesia and you could pass it on to your kids. There is also a kind of an interesting debate on whether everyone is born with some degree of synesthesia, or if it's in fact, just some special perception that only some individuals have. Personally, I quite like the idea that everyone has some degree of synesthesia, and it's more like a spectrum, Since synesthesia involves the combination of two or more senses, there might be as many as 80 subtypes or more ways in which our senses overlap, but not all of them have been documented and studied. Perhaps because there's so many possibilities, or perhaps because, as far as I read, it's different for every synesthete, and how could you possibly keep track of all of them? Now, I study music, not neuroscience, and the behavior of the brain is full of mysteries rather than certainty, so we'll have to wait until someone qualified for it can prove the existence of such a spectrum, which might not be real, but I think it is. Nevertheless, there is something fascinating about this crossed-wire thing that messes with people's senses. It's just so fun to think about it. I don't know, it's nice. I do have to clarify that you cannot get or develop synesthesia. It's something that you are born with. Perhaps the closest you could get would be to try and convince or train your brain in a certain way to react to certain stimulus in a particular way, like a metaphorical relation with sounds and colors or numbers or shapes and tastes and smells. Another way to experience synesthesia in a sort of manufactured way would be to, eat some brownies. Not really. Hallucinogens, that's what I mean. Some hallucinogens can induce vivid experiences that relate to synesthesia because they can help change the neurochemistry of our brain, temporarily of course, and they can cause these really vivid events of our senses, like cross-wiring and us hearing something and smelling something else, or seeing colors and hearing sounds and that kind of thing that people with synesthesia normally experience, but we who do not possess that would have to do something extra, like Now let me be clear, this is not an invitation for you to use drugs. This is purely informative, okay? Alright, so if you would like to know whether you have some type of synesthesia or not, you could take an online test, but keep in mind that they might not be super accurate since they're usually tailored to detect some of the most common types of synesthesia, like grapheme color or chromesthesia. I actually took one of those tests and my results were those of a non-synesthete, sadly. But there are some sounds that give me goosebumps and others that I perceive as bubbly and it feels good to hear. And I mean, does that mean I'm a synesthete? I'm gonna go with maybe. Thank you. Right, so for the honorary mention, here are some rare types of synesthesia that I think are really, really, really cool. Number 1, we have lexical-gustatory synesthesia. This is when hearing or saying a word causes someone to be able to taste or smell something. Now, it's gotta be really cool. Unless you're like hungry and you say something that tastes really good but you cannot eat it because it's not real and it's just in your head. That's pretty weird, actually. Next one we have is called mirror touch synesthesia. This type of synesthesia has been described as some sort of supercharged empathy. So basically a person could feel as though they are being touched if they witness someone else being touched. So if I were with a person who has mirror touch synesthesia and I did this, they could feel like I am touching or like someone is touching their cheek. That's just like a weird mind trick that blows my mind. But I'm guessing that someone with mirror touch synesthesia wouldn't want to go to a box match maybe. The next one is called number form synesthesia. And I don't really understand this because it's basically when a mental map appears involuntarily when someone thinks of numbers. And the last one we have, it's called ordinal linguistic personification. This is a type of synesthesia where ordered sequences like the days of the week, months, numbers, or even letters are associated with personalities or genders. I feel like I might be a Wednesday. Cue up something. Yeah, I know. Alright, well I guess that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I really, really hope you liked it. Take care, don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, bye. God, there's a fly in my room. This really is very good though. Right, I think I have to finish this.